So here's one that I was really excited about from the second that I heard about it. The Mezco 1/12 Collective Dr. Fate action figure. And the box art for this one's kind of interesting in comparison to the rest because they've gone for a full bleed comic book image that covers the entire front and also the same image on the back in comparison to their usual simplistic design. I sure kind of hope that they decide to go with this kind of thing in the future with their Mezco figures because it works really, really well. However, the top of the box is entirely familiar with its simplistic 1/12 Collective Pose Play display logo, and both the left and right of the packaging also retain that classic simplistic Mezco 1/12 Collective box art design. Oh yeah, and as usual, having purchased the Mezco 1/12 Collective Dr. Fate directly from Mezco, you got the sticker, you got a little card here, and you got a Mezit. In comparison to the last Mezit that I received, which was gold, this one's a little black one. And it's got a little boombox. Anyway, let's get this guy out of the packaging and have a little look-see-doodle at what we got on the inside. Alright, so we all know what this is. I've seen this before. And we have the instructions on how to install the batteries in the light-up portion of his head. Alright, let me just get this all out of the plastic, get it all set up and looking all pretty in front of us, and then we'll continue on.
The ultimate evil, dark side, attacks. His horde of villains spread chaos and destruction. But now they face Earth's mightiest heroes. The superpowered collection explodes into battle. Egad, parademons with Hawkman in a holding pattern? Who will save him? We will! It's Firestorm, Dr. Fate, and Green Lantern, part of Kenner's superpowered collection. Vehicle and figures with power action, each sold separately.
Darkseid, Decide, brainwash them. Mantis, use your power action.
Who will save them now?
Superman!
How will Superman save his fallen friends? You decide.
And now we got this guy out of the package, and wow, I'm telling you, Mezco fans, if you did not pick up this Dr. Fate, if he was not part of your pre-order list from earlier this year, then you are sadly missing out on one of Mezco's finest. Amongst the accessories, there's the Helmet of Fate, 3 magic projections, the Book of Thoth, and a slew of extra hands. Not to mention the base with the adjustable arm, and the wrist-mounted posing posts. Now, as for this figure itself, I can't imagine Mezco having done a better job than what we see before us. I just love what Mezco's done in regard to the detail on his boots here, even having treads on the bottom. And his waist armor, goodness, that looks great. And it goes all the way around the back too, just like that. And these gauntlets here have the exact same design motif as the boots, which really seems to fit in with a character of such cosmic proportions as Dr. Fate. Also, this decorative sorcerer armor that he has going around his chest and over his shoulders here, it really works. It's a design element that I think really matches Mezco's typical aesthetic of their figures. Same with the design of the helmet. You can see, as the light catches it just right, you can see that there's actual shaping to his Helmet of Fate. I will say I'm not entirely sure why they did include this extra helmet. It's a cool little accessory, but as you may have guessed, it doesn't actually fit on the Kent Nielsen head sculpt. That's okay, I think it's just intended to be an accessory. But while we are indeed on the topic of Kent Nielsen's head sculpt, which looks fantastic at least as far as the sculpted detail goes and the painting of the eyes and the hair, I feel like I also do need to kind of sort of point out that this guy looks a little bit orange, like he possibly spent a lot too much time standing in front of the spray tan machine during his trip down south to Florida so we would look fantastic on the beach. And if you think I'm just exaggerating about the skin tone here, well, compare him to Hal Jordan, who clearly has a much more even-keeled white person's flesh skin tone color in comparison to the very orange-colored Kent Nielsen face sculpt. Now, coming back to the figure, we have this really fantastic gold color pleather cape. Obviously, it's not real leather, but I like the texture of this. It looks enough like leather to be convincing. And there's a wire up here in the top of his Dr. Fate collar. And on the inside, it's this nice gold-colored soft material. So this is a fantastic cape that Mezco has given us with Dr. Fate. Also, Dr. Fate's sash that goes around his waist under his armor there is made out of a really nice, high-quality fake leather as well. Come to think of it, it's probably exactly the same as the cape. So overall, just a fantastic looking figure. This is definitely one of my favorite Mezco DC figures. Now, when you're going to insert the batteries to use the light up feature for Dr. Fate, you're going to want to first take off the head, and then you're going to want to twist the neck piece counterclockwise, which will release this right here. This is where you put the batteries in. Now, getting the battery casing off can be just a little bit tricky. You just kind of have to work it off from the bottom, and that exposes where the batteries go. And then it's a matter of not losing anything or dropping the batteries on the floor as you... Oh, no. Oh, it fell on the floor. Oh, no. Oh, God. And then you've just got to put these really tiny, very losable batteries in there like that. Let's wedge the other one in there, too. Get in there. There. I win. And then just replace the casing. Flick the switch, slide it back in the neck, making sure to keep the lid upside to the front, and then pop the head on. For some reason, I thought that this was going to be a little bit more bright. Let's turn the lights off. Yeah, okay. Light up feature, yay! I'm not saying it's not cool. I just expected a little bit more of it. Anyway, fantastic figure. Now let's look at the accessories. First of which I want to talk about is the Book of Thoth. The quality in this is so fantastic for an accessory. I love the gold and then the wash over it, the onk on the front. This is a cool little book accessory, but wait, there's more. You can open this bad boy up and check it out. It's an actual book in here. This is like a legit little book. I mean, I don't know if it's just a bunch of gobbledygook Egyptian hieroglyphs that they've put in here in no particular order or what. I'm not going to give it that much of a hard look, but this is still, I mean, a lot went into creating this really fantastic accessory. This is really, really cool. And then, of course, we have all 10 of the interchangeable hands. The pair of fists that come on Dr. Fate's body. We have 2 pairs of posing hands, 1 pair of spell hands, and 1 pair of book-holding hands, which coming together makes for the fact that Dr. Fate is apparently a very handy person. You know, okay, fine, bad joke. Now, as is the case with almost any action figure review, usually I would do an articulation portion here, but I think we pretty much all know how articulated these Mezco figures are. We know what their limitations are, we know what they can do, and we know what they cannot do. So I think I'll just skip the articulation segment for this video and move right on to the comparisons, starting with 2 of my favorite Dr. Fates. On the left, we have one of the DC Universe Classics versions, the other's a more classic look that looks more like the Superpowers over there on the right. And of course we have, well, I just gave it away, didn't I? It's the Superpowers Dr. Fate, which was my first Dr. Fate action figure. Man, those power features never get old, except for they do. This one barely works anymore. And then next, I just wanted to bring in a few more of my DC Mezco 1/12 collective figures. Actually, let's get the whole league together, shall we? There we go. Though far from complete, that is a lot of leaguers. I gotta tell you, I am definitely very impressed with the level of commitment Mezco has had to creating a more complete DC universe with their action figure line. It's not just a Bat line. It's a complete DC line. So I guess at this point in the end of the video, the real question is, what do I think about this Mezco 1/12 collective Dr. Fate action figure? And as usual, I'm just gonna say it, if you've been paying attention, which I'm sure you all have, you'll have realized by now that I am definitely very, very satisfied with this figure. So hopefully this video helped you to make your decision if you've been on the fence about him. I think that he looks fantastic. The blue and gold just pop. He's going to look great with your Justice League, as you've already seen. And if you're someone who is building up a Mezco 1/12 collective DC collection, this guy really is going to be a must-have. I will say, alongside Aquaman and the Green Arrow, he is definitely one of my favorites. So there's your answer. If you do see him, and you're thinking about passing up on him, don't do that to yourself or to Dr. Fate. Bring him home, add him to your collection. You're definitely going to be satisfied with this guy, I promise you. And I will see you with the next one. Have a super awesome, fantastic DC day, everybody, and take care.